Yadai, 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 yadai. Yadai, 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 yadai. Yai, yadai, 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 yadai. Yababai, yai, yadai. Ay, yadai, yadai. Yadai, 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 yadai. Yai dai 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 yai dai dai yada dai 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 ya yada dai yada dai yada dai 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 ya ba ba ya hi dai dai yai dai 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 dum yai dai dai yai dai 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 dum yai dai 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 yai dai dai ya ba ba yai dai ya yada da yada da yada da 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 yada da da he da da ya da 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 ya da da ya yada da dum ya da 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 he da 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 ya ba ba ya ya yada da yada da yada da 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 dum yai dai dai yai dai 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 dum yai dai dai yai dai 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 dum yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yada dai 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 yai da da dai yada dai yada dai dai ay yai dai dai dum. Erev Tov, Shabbat Shalom for a little bit longer until we officially do Havdalah. Samantha, I am exhausted. That is true. And somebody said, oh, you know, when will you rest? I said, I'll rest when I'm dead. And they said, how could you say that? I said, well, I don't think resting is going to be happening anytime soon. Anyway, today was a beautiful day celebrated by nearest and dearest people to us, celebrating the upcoming arrival of our twins and my wife's dedication to miserable life until they get here. And it was truly a wonderful celebration. But I just now emptied the car, which means you got to find place for all the things. And so, yeah, it's not going to be restful, and that's how it is. And truth be told, you must be tired. This is true because, well, you've been at it all day also. And so here we are. We come back together. We start Shabbat together. We close Shabbat together. We count the Omer together. The most important part is each other, that we are together in time, in space, in love, in longing for whatever it is that we are. So let's get started. And truthfully, usually we do gratitude and forgiveness right before closing the day and counting the Omer. But if we're closing the day in this moment, let us call to mind two things that we are grateful for. Certainly, having my dad at the shower was wonderful. Having my in laws at the shower was wonderful, and all of the people that joined us. Grateful that Andrea's dad is still feeling good enough to be present at things, and so that felt really good. And just to be, you know, sometimes when you're a spotlight kind of person by profession, it's very awkward and strange and uncomfortable to be that socially. And so it did not feel like that at all for me today, which reminded me how truly blessed that I really am. And so I'm grateful for those moments. And in moments of forgiveness, you have your own gratitude for today. And in moments of forgiveness, we ask forgiveness from those that may have crossed our path at the wrong time, at the wrong moment, with the wrong decision that they might have made. And so, God of the universe, may we be forgiven for any wrongs that we have done today, whether we did so willfully or by accident, as well as may I forgive and may we forgive those that angered, antagonized, or hurt us today, whether they did so accidentally or willfully, whether through speech or deed. May compassion and kindness be my guide, be all of our guides as we navigate life is not easy. And so it's also not easy to forgive. It's also not easy to be forgiven. And so we find ourselves in each other's vulnerability of being in the moment. We don't always make the right choice. But when we learn to correct the behavior or at least acknowledge what is not, what isn't most correct, we find our place in forgiveness. Havdalah. Let's do it. Hine el Yeshuati eftach v'lo echad ki ozi v'zimrat ya Adonai vayehi li Yeshua shavtem mayim bisason mimiane ha-Yeshua L'Adonai ha-Yeshua alamecha bichatecha sela Adonai tzvaot imanu Mishkav Elohanu Elohei Yaakov Sela Adonai tzvaot ashrei adam boteach bach Adonai ha-Yeshua ha-Melech Aneinu V'yom koreinu La Yehudim Hayta ora V'simcha v'sason v'hikar Ken Tieh lanu La Yehudim Hayta ora V'simcha v'sason v'hikar Ken Tieh lanu As we hold on to the sweetness of Shabbat, the Kiddush, the blessing over wine, is done at the beginning of Shabbat, making it holy, consecrating it. And so we take that sweetness with us along the way until we arrive at Shabbat again. Yai dai ya ba 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 yai dai dai ya da 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 dum ya da 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 yai dai 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen Borei peri hagafen Yai dai da 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 dum Yai dai da 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 Ya da 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 Ay 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Borei minei v'samim Borei minei v'samim The spices help us cheer, lift our emotions as we say goodbye to Shabbat. It feels like something's leaving, the sweetness that is. The smell reminds us to take it along with us. Yadai, 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 ay, yadai, 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 yadai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei meorei haesh Borei meorei haesh As we look at this candle, Multi-wicks, may we intertwine ourselves to lift up light. Yadai dai 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 dai, yadai dai dai dai, ay yadai 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 dai. Hamavdil ben kodesh lechol. Hamavdil ben kodesh lechol. The separation between Shabbat and the new week, the separation from sacred and profane. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimera v'yamenu, Yavo Aleinu, Imashiach ben David, Imashiach ben David. Shavua Tov, a good week, a week of peace. May gladness reign and joy increase. May it be so. How beautiful it is to be with you, Margaret and Sam and Bet. Bet, that is hysterical because people kept asking us this whole shower today about what will happen if, like, the twins are, 16 years old and they find out that they were the wrong one or they were switched at some point. And you know what? It is what it is. What are we going to do? You never know. Well, one will have a birthmark, one won't, whatever the thing is, you figure out, I guess, by their personalities. But in the meantime, in the beginning, I should say, they will be wearing ankle bracelets that are material that have their names on them. And so we'll be able to know who's who. Welcome Dawn and Rabbi and Samantha and Donna and Linda and Bonnie and Amy and whoever is watching, whoever else is watching that hasn't committed by saying I'm here. We welcome you as we transition into Omer counting. Yesterday was day 11, and since I did it from Rabbi Jay's home, we are a token off. So I'm going to just add, before we start adding sanctity to our lives, we're actually counting today. I'm going to add to our chart of counting the square for yesterday, and then we'll do the square for today. There's something to be said about visual aid. There are people that are auditory learners and those that are visual learners, and something about when you're counting up or down, whichever you are, wherever we're counting in our lives, it's always good to have a countdown. Like Andrea says, we keep saying June 27th, but the reality is it feels better, even though the number's bigger. It feels better to say that we are on day 54 left. And so we're getting there, we're getting somewhere. And so it helps to have calendars for things. And so right this moment, before we count today, we are at day 11. And together, we're going to bring ourselves to this moment as we continue to add sanctity to our lives through counting the Omer together for 7 whole weeks. The blessing for counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer al sfirat haomer al sfirat haomer Hasvirat HaOmer Hayom Shneim Asar Yom Shehem Shavua Echad V'chamisha Yamim LaOmer. This is the 12th day, totaling 1 week and 5 days of the Omer. Together, we come to this day, the day which is Hod, day 12. Hod Sheba Gevura. Glory within strength. Glory, maybe it's splendor, maybe it's humility, maybe it's modesty, within this week of strength. Let this day be a holy vessel. It feels strange coming out as we leave Shabbat. When we think about holy vessel, we think about time and we think about also sometimes our own bodies. And so Shabbat seems much more fitting for uh, reminding ourselves of this holy vessel. But perhaps it's more fitting on the day out of Shabbat that we should still feel the holiness within us. Sit in whatever is the chaos, the confusion, the silence, the sanctity, the, I don't know, maybe sacredness of the moment or the quiet, and know that you are filled with divine light. It says, Hod is the realization that our qualities and strengths are not our own. They are our own, we possess them, but they're for divine purposes. They're for more than we think that they're for. And so remind yourself that you are filled with divine light. Feel yourself shine. Sometimes we stand in our own shadow. Sometimes we like others to shadow us. And other times we show up for ourselves and feel our own divine self shining in the world that is so dark. It's hard to imagine being totally comfortable being in our own shining light. I think about what comes to mind when I think about somebody being able to be all out there. And you think of, actors and actresses, and you think of the drama of what those people go through. And so often you see something on stage that maybe not totally where they are in their own inner space, but they find a way to let themselves shine. And I think that it's a reminder to us that it's not always going to be like, hey, I'm all full of light, my life is so perfect, I'm going to be out there so everybody can see how bright and light I am. Rather to say, you know what, the imperfection that is the work that we're not doing work because there's no work to be done. We're doing work because we're finding places within ourselves where we can improve. And so sometimes we have to say that we're going to be something and work on achieving it to get there. Sometimes we just have to say, yes, I am filled with divine light, whether we 100% wholeheartedly, authentically embody that or believe it for ourselves as a truth. Sometimes we have to declare it and then work towards it. And other times we're able to say, this is what it is. I am who I am, and I'm comfortable with that. And that is my light that I'm going to shine. But more often than not, we have to, for lack of better slogan, fake it till you make it. So this is the reminder in the day of Hod, in the week of Gevura, in the day of reminding yourself your own humility. Don't hide, humble. But sometimes you need to push yourself a little bit more and to remind yourself that you are filled with divine light, that you are able and willing and deserving. When we say Or Chadash al Tzion Ta'ir v'nizchechu lanu mehira le'oro, every morning we're saying this, that there is this cosmic light and that we want to be worthy of that light. And it is so we understand that it is to be able to say, I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy of shining. I am who I am. And one day I hope to be proud of who I am. I hope to be seen as who I am. I hope to be um, able to acknowledge myself who I am. All of that comes in Hod Sheba Gevura, but that's one day. Imagine when we get to the week of Hod, what the work will be. But in this moment, on day 12, let us find ourselves, it's Sunday, let us find ourselves a place to sit. But don't sit while you're driving, because if you're causing traffic on Sunday, I'm not a fan. Okay, so sit somewhere else. And let's not sit on the expressway, the parkway, Jericho Turnpike, 25A. Let's not sit wherever we are, A1A, wherever you are in your own place and time and space. But let us find some time to sit, some time to clear our minds, some time to breathe a little bit. Realizing that, you know what? Our own existence relies on so many systems working correctly. But if you just take time to quiet your breath, the other systems often work more efficiently. And so after sitting and breathing for a little bit, it could be 2 seconds, but just pausing for a second out of your regular. Imagine that every time you breathe in, while you're bringing awareness to it, that every time you breathe in, there is this clear, pure light that enters through your nose, unless you're a mouth breather. I won't say if I am or am not. You can probably hear it most of the time. Um, Breathing in through your nose like you're supposed to, this clear, pure light. And that the light sometimes takes on different colors. If you've ever been to for any kind of scan, whenever they're checking to see if there's blood flow, the colors light up on the screen. Imagine it's blue light. Imagine it's red, whatever light, whatever color you feel. The qualities of the color of what you're feeling. Some people say, "Oh, you have such an aura about you." Whatever color it is, and I'm thinking to myself, "Okay, if you see that." But if you really quiet your mind, and even if it's that you put the color in yourself, feel yourself able to focus enough to see something even in your breathing. Every minute, every few seconds, your mind is going to wander. You're going to think like, what am I sitting here? I could be doing a million things. But bring it back to breathing. And breathing is the reminder that you are this holy vessel through which energy, life, divine light is able to flow through. Let it. And as you exhale, let that light go out into the world. Notice that even as you breathe out, the light stays. It's like anything we focus on, it stays there. We hold on to it, we nurture it, we foster it, and it becomes something. Your light has the ability to become something, anything. But more often than not, your light has the ability to change your own life and the lives of those you love and also the greater world. When you sit long enough to realize that the light that you carry deserves to be within you until you have enough that it spills over. The light that you have within you, continue to nourish it so that eventually it will flow out of you. Not to say, oh, I have 50% light, let me give 50 to you, or 25 to you and 25 to me. No, continue to nurture that until that light feels like I have the light that I need. And it will automatically spill. People will feel it, people will see it within you. And I'm talking about doing this for 2 minutes tomorrow. Tonight, it's too late. It's 10 o'clock. Tomorrow, whenever it is. During the day, stop and sit. Give yourself 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever that is. And when you're done sitting and thinking about light and thinking about breath and thinking about being in a space that says, hey, wait a minute, I'm allowed to shine too, even when things seem dismal in the world. And when you're done, give thanks for the gift of breath, the ability to breathe. Psalm 112, verse 1 and 4 says, fulfilled is a person who lives in awe, who deeply desires connection. For them, their light shines in darkness, lights of grace, compassion, and justice. For them, light shines in darkness, lights of grace, compassion, and justice. Fulfilled is the person who lives in awe, who deeply desires connection. That's all of us. We continue to connect. We continue to lift up. We continue to show up. We continue to count, to be counted on, to be part of this counting process. And you know what? Sometimes we need to just count on ourselves. We can count on others, but sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So what starts to be the same way what we say, love your neighbor as yourself. The truth is you have to know how to love yourself before you can love your neighbor. This too is to be able to see your own light before you can see the light of another. Debbie, glad you can join us as well. Sending the light is to say, fill your cup, let it overflow so that others will see that light. We are one human family, one heart of abundant love. We love you. We can't wait to reconnect with you tomorrow night. Let's do the holy work of Hod. Let's do that work that says, you know what? What I've been given is for divine purpose. What I've been given is for a higher purpose. What I've been given is to make this world a better place because I have the light that the world needs to see. Let's be a light together. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 Od Avinu Chai. Get some rest, everyone. Shavua Tov. Let's go with a good week. You are a blessing.